Hello! Hopefully it's coming through now. One moment, let me test on a set of speakers. Yes, I can hear myself. Woohoo! Right, okay. Hello, welcome. Going to be doing a digital art stream today. Brain, not want to work. So today's plan is I've got a Pathfinder game coming up on Sunday, which I need to create a character piece for. So I did a bit of work in Clip Studio using their 3D model thing that they have in there, so you can pose a 3D model, get an idea. I've then taken that and put it into Open Canvas because I'm used to drawing in that one. I haven't set everything up for Clip Studio. So I found a lot of the buttons weren't in the right place. But all I've done initially is just get a basic line done, so get a rough idea of the face, the body. So my plan for this stream is to try and finalise that, try and come up with the armour, the weapon, and flesh out the basic that I started with. So, loading up the Open Canvas, let me just get to the right screen, and hopefully that will have a Kendo, which is the best way of putting this at the minute, of what I've got. So, in the background, if I bring it up, that's what I did in Clip Studio. Just got the standard mannequin, beefed it up, put it there. And then I've just started doing the line art off that and getting a few rough ideas. So as I said, this stream will be trying to flesh this out a bit more, add armour, all that sort of jazz to it. There won't be music, considering that the last one I did ended up getting clips and muted because music. So I'm like, oh. So for that, if you want to put your own music in the background, by all means feel free, go ahead. I might just hum randomly. So that'll be my form of music here, until I can figure something out to get some background music in. I don't know, like turn on some form of classic channel or something like that, because classical music can go well with this. So without further ado, let's crack on. So the character I've got is a half-orc, so I've got to keep that in my head when I'm doing this. Sing. Okay. There you go, I sang some scales. Well, even though it wasn't even scales, but I sang something. That's about as good as I can do. And Hackeron, you okay? Yeah, that should be about the right size. Oh, wait. Put on my gloves so I don't stick to the tablet. One of the best gifts I ever got given was these gloves, so I can just glide across the tablet without sticking to it all the time. One thing I will need to do is bump the canvas size up a little bit. Mostly because as I came to do it, I noticed I needed a bit more headroom on this just to fit the mohawk in. Bad groggy, yeah, I know that feeling not too well. We'll say you've got one of your meets tonight, haven't you? Like the Pathfinder, the actual game stuff, not the computer game. I can't remember, you said you got something on tonight. Very no worky. But D&D, yeah, close enough. Same stuff. But you're like, no, Pathfinder actually has. So yeah, this is my Gurky, which anyone who's ever watched the Achievement Hunters play, you know where I've got Gurky from, name-wise, although this one is slightly different in comparison to the original Gurky. So what I'm going to do is create a new layer and give me a colour to have a work with, and I'm going to start by trying to figure out what he's going to be wearing, because, you know, clothes is good, clothes is always good. This is where I suck at getting, because I generally don't draw clothes that much. I could come across wrong even when I'm talking about drawing images. I'm not one for really drawing people with clothes on. What did you draw then? Well, oh, yes. So it's gonna have a shirt under there. At the minute, it's all just planning where it's all gonna go. Give them one of those shirts that they have with the collar's slightly open on it. But they come down over the shoulders like this. And over, and then again it's going to be come this way, scraggly sleeve. There's going to be armour over this, it's just I want to try and put something else so it isn't, you know, a naked Kendall. And plus, if I actually design the clothes on the ground up, I can sort of decide what's going to be shown underneath, what isn't, and so on. Maybe not the best way of doing things, but it's sort of how I work, I guess. You might look at it and think, well, actually, you could do it this way. I'm willing to give things a try, but clothes are optional. I mean, most of the art I draw is nude, but I mean, I find it funny. The shocking words when I should say. Oh, I mean, I've done my fair share of nudes. It's just, I think that's half the problem. Is nudes are kind of easy. It's putting clothes on things is the hard part. When I say nudes are kind of easy, I've not really drawn them, so I technically should practice that a bit more. You know, branch out and do actual people. What do you have? Full leggings, I suppose. Oh, would you have a skirt? Half orc. Do you have like a kilt kind of thing? I'm kind of thinking this guy's Mad Lad style, so a kilt would be. It'd be like one of those armoured ones where it's like just the leather strips rather than it being cloth. So it'd be like strips of leather coming down. That's giving it more of a rigid shape. But yeah, it'd be like an armoured kilt when you'd have big skull on the crotch. And probably giving them like big furry boot things I would get. Barbarian as well, ability thing. Yeah, there is that. You know, speaking from experience, you know, running around in skirts isn't that hard, providing that they're not too long and floppy. Oh, actually thinking of it, would he have those boots, or those boots would be fairly big and hefty? He could have that then sandal things. Oh, that's an idea. If he had like the lightweight sandals that'd allow him to run around a bit more. But as a teamster, he's probably going to want. Let's try those boots. Let's just undo. Blah 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 blah. That's what I'm thinking. He's mounting his tracks on. But he is also used to that kind of climate. And what I'm thinking is he has like a leather plate running down the front. And then it's just leather plates on here that are held on like on a strap running up, and then each one is strapped down to the base. And he has his fairly thick bit there. He'd have a bit on the heel, which will be attached to the straps at the background there. Wait, no, his big toe be there. Yep. I think you could always give him two straps. So he's got one through the big toe. Yeah, going through the big toe, the best bet, I think. English is bad as on tablet. Ah, that's alright then. I just thought you hadn't had, 43rd coffee of the day or something like that, so I was just like, oh. Because hell, my English is bad all the time. Why I drink tea. Lifeblood. So that would connect that to the bike there, so yeah, that would come down and then bend around underneath. I just realised I'm still going to have to draw toes. Bleh. Decaffeinated. Yeah, I know. You've gone down that route. I'll only be ashamed of you if you start drinking decaffeinated tea, but I know you won't do that. Mostly because you don't drink tea. If we had a display piece there, as I said, it could be a skull. Something like his first kill. His first friend. Yeah, the best way that I can think of describing his attitude is something funny. How much would you pay for Sainsbury's tea bags? I don't know, I'll get Yorkshire tea. Yeah, I don't know how much Sainsbury's tea bags go for. So is there like a punchline in this one, or? Let's just set on something a bit different colour-wise, because I want to start thinking about his armour. Now, is that $15 for 180 or £15? I'm just assuming it's pound and it's just your tablets give you the dollar sign by error. $15. I've not. Hang on, I've got to find out what $15 is. I wouldn't have thought so. To me, that seems a lot. Mentos. Google. £10 for 180. Aye, that's a lot. Because I used to pick up Yorkshire tea in like big bags for like 10 quid, and there were, what was it, 500 or something in there? When I say big bags, I mean huge by large bags of. They could quite easily last me a month, and they were like 10 quid. And that's when I was getting them not on sale. So yeah, for 180 tea bags, $15 is a hell of a lot. Why, who's spending that much on tea bags? Sainsbury's wanted that. Just, yeah. Actually, I'll bring that window back up because I want to have a look at leather armour. I'll try and see if I can get something. Images. Let's have a look and see what people have got. Ooh, I like that. The image is hosted on wish.com. That's gonna be cheap. Hey, Vaughan, you okay? Let's put that window there because I can keep an eye on it. So we want to give him. He's gonna have shoulder armour coming out. Midline's going to be that there. Tuesday, GM's American Council of American Tea Select to import, and they favour Sainsbury's tea bags. Hoi! and they can't get them cheaper than $15 for 180. Can you not pick them up for them and sell it on and do it that way? You know, save the poor sucker some cash, and then send them some Yorkshire tea so they can actually try proper tea. If you didn't guess, I really like Yorkshire tea, for anyone who's watching this and doesn't know me. Although I do jest, I'll drink most tea, but preference is Yorkshire. When I moved out of home, that was the one thing I'm like, I'm going to keep getting. I don't mind getting basics, cheeses, cereals, this, that and the other. Doesn't bother me. But tea's the one thing that where I'm like, yeah, I've got to have this. You know, I'll spend money on tea. And so it doesn't have to be, you know, Twinings or anything like that. I just like my Yorkshire tea. Not too steep. So I want that to sort of curve under there. Woo-wee. Sensitivity on that's a little bit up. Good enough. Just did my daily bit on the bike. Yep. Yorkshire tea, 500 bag sack from Costco for the win. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The big sack bag. Unfortunately, we don't have a Costco that I can get to easily. Otherwise, I'd be, you know, a regular down there. But like, yes, I'm here for my 15th bag of the month. They'd be like ringing like the National Drug Helpline. It's like, yeah, we've got a guy who's addicted to tea. He keeps coming in and buying Yorkshire tea bags. What's so bad about that? It's his 15th big sack of the month, sir. So, armor plate. There's another armor plate down here. So his shirt would be showing underneath. Not a fan of how they've designed it on the one that I've got online, because it goes more to a point, and I'm like, even if it's leather armor, I'd love the idea of having a point down there. I thought about that, but she moved around with it, and you can have to ship them. Not in the apocalypse, she comes over and gets them herself. Okay. I think you can order the casing size from the website, can't you? I've not looked. I will do later. Because I normally just get it in boxes. But yeah, I used to love getting the big bags in. I used to have a flatmate who used to go to Costco, so I used to chuck him cash and be like, yeah, get us a couple of bags. Saw me through a couple of months or so. Regards to the armor's distinct cutout for the arm that goes around there. I think his head's too big, even though I got it to the same size as what's on the original. I'm like, might make his head a bit smaller. Which is easy enough done, it's just trim that in a bit. This is only the rough anyway, but trying to neaten it up in a bit. So let's just get rid of some of the that looks a bit better. I also remember that I need to adjust that a bit more. Whilst the 3D help was kind of useful, it did get a funny thing on the hand because I couldn't fold it properly, but it's a hand. I hate hands. Even with assistants drawing them, they're a pain in the ass. But that looks a bit better. And then just bring that out there. try and blend that in a bit better. Yeah, also, Roland, you may get a giggle from this. I've actually found a song that I could technically see myself singing at a karaoke. I just need to make sure I can actually get hold of a background copy of it. And then I might actually go crazy and say the next convention, I should try singing it in a karaoke for a change. And the fun part comes in, do I actually bother cosplaying for the singing for a giggle? But yes, doing Callie's Excuse My Rudeness, but Can You Please Die? I actually managed to get hold of a set of the lyrics so I can actually start learning the bits that are in Japanese, which is kind of useful for me. Alright. Let's go to a new layer just for the weapon. Because my plan, the reason why he's got such a goofy hand position there, is to have the weapon resting across his lap. So it's going to be sort of balanced out. Oh, wait, hang on. Let's do a straight line. Ta-da! Yeah, the weapon would be because I think it's a double-headed axe that he's got. I think that's what we picked. But it's what I can show him with. It doesn't necessarily have to match the exact what he'll be carrying in the campaign, because, you know, that's likely to change when I find more loot. If I survive that long. I don't know. Yep, abs. Hi, Banana. You okay? This might come as a shock to some people, but yes, I'm actually drawing a character that isn't a woman. Probably need to extend the canvas out a bit more for the axe. But yeah, that's roughly what I was planning, is sort of knelt down in a pose. That's how I describe this pose, by the way, very technical term. Oh yes, that's the other thing I will need to add as well. I'll just fix it on the abs. Well, I kind of had to cheat. What I did, I don't know if you managed to catch the start of the stream or not, but I used Clip Studio to use their 3D mannequin thing, so I actually got a 3D mannequin set up, and that let me know roughly what to do, and then I'm just freestyling off the top of that. But yeah, it came with abs on the thing, so I'm like, muscles. It's, you know, I'd love to say I've based it off myself, you know. There's a slight lump there, if you can see. I'm proud of that. But yeah, he's got a little bit more muscle than me. He's probably got muscles on his arm as big as me. I didn't hear much any of that to his into the new. Oh, okay, I'll let you off. Just send that to me later. Yeah, all I was saying was I could do a karaoke entry at the next convention and just do Callie's Excuse My Rudeness. I've managed to find a set of lyrics for it, so I'm like, ooh, yeah, I could do that. I just remembered I need to make sure I've got his carry package, which is got a bit of backstory in it. Not that I expect anyone to actually bring it up during the course of the campaign, but if they do, it's there. That's what he carries. Muscles, yes. His right arm might be as big as me. Yeah, he's a big lad. I've given him the backstory of being raised sort of in solitude almost, by a necromancer who wanted him as protection. Oops, that was the wrong one. So his conversational abilities are a bit limited. He's not, I won't say he's thick, but he's just socially inept at places. You know, he might do things that are a little bit different, but he has been working as part of this Teamsters merchant caravan for some time, so he has got better. So I'll be able to get away with things where he doesn't necessarily have to know the ins and outs of everything, but he will have an idea of stuff, but he's definitely not thick. I had originally wanted to make him a little bit more simple, but trying to bring all that through into the actual campaign would be a bit of a pain in the ass. So I'm just going to go through him just being a little bit socially dense, is the best way of putting it. Latest band made flavoured groove funk metal. Yes, I will check that out afterwards. I'm always up for new stuff to try and listen to. You know, usually the crazier the better with me. You know, you can watch a bloody rock metal group kind of thing sing about a bloody fruit or a chocolate or stuff like that, and you're just like, yeah, I can catch up with most things. Crazy talented in these lasses' case. That's always good. Monkeys. I should really have moved that a bit further up. There's a peaches stuck in your head. I suppose technically yes, they did sing about peaches. What was that? That was that the Presidents of the United States of America or something like that that were called? Another song was just Peaches, which of course is now going to get stuck in my head, but I'm sure there was something like the Presidents of the United States or something daft like that. Alright. Okay. I'm kind of happy with what I've got there. It's very, very sketchy, I appreciate. There's a song, Peaches by the Stranglers. Oh. It could have been a cover by him. Like I said, I just remember as a kid there was a song about, it's just singing about how many millions of peaches and stuff, and there were peaches in a can and all sorts of stuff. I'm trying to remember the lyrics, Brain. I can remember the chorus, I just can't remember. It was something like, I want to move into the country and eat me a lot of peaches. And they sort of repeat that over and over or something like that. Yeah. The thing is I'll probably know the Stranglers song the moment I hear it, it's just I won't know who it is. I'm good at stuff like that. People go, oh, it's a song by XYZ, and I'm like, I have no idea who that is. And then I hear the song, I'm like, oh, it's this song. Yeah, I know this one. It's just I won't know who sung it, I just know it's been sung. Right, so let's put the sketches into a folder. Sketch. Okay, it just makes it easier if I need to turn them off. So yeah, it's a bit rough looking, but now I get to refine what I've done. And as I said, we'll see how we go with it all. So let's try getting his face. Do that up. His eyes, might need to narrow his eyes a bit more. Let's do eyes first. And yes, I just pick random bright colours for my line art, and then I can go over it in the end. Changing line art colour is not hard. All you do, say I've done that and I want to change it to a different colour, I click this button and then I choose the colour I want it to be, and then I can go boop, 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 and go over it, and it will colour it over. So I don't worry too much about what colour I choose for it all. Set my brush to 4. What I will do actually to make things a bit easier to see is drop that down a bit there. No. Ah, no. I pressed the wrong button there. Oops. I want to try and give him like almost like the cheeky grin kind of look to this. I don't want him to look too menacing. Although I get the feeling that eye is way too angled here. That eye is way too angled, isn't it? Ah! Stop doing that. Control Y. So, try start there, and then do big circular eye. Do orcs have round eyes? Although I did find out something interesting the other day, which really shoots my drawings in the foot, especially when it comes to Loyu. The reason why cats have narrow slit eyes, but big cats like lions and stuff generally have rounder ones, is when the animal is small, it needs to be able to discern, like, you know, in between like blades of grass and stuff, and the narrow slit eye assists with them being able to discern things like in between grass and what stands up. Whereas the bigger cats, because they're above the grass, they don't need that, so they have rounder eyes to let more light in, which technically means that, well, you can't see that well because she has cat's eyes. Fun fact for you. So yeah, I think this is a Frank video I actually watched. The guy who does like all the true facts videos about animals, and you think, oh, it's just like jokes. No, they can be informative. Sometimes informative about weird things, like ducks' penises. That's just, did not know that, now I do. Can't unsee, wish I could. And the fact that koalas have smooth brains, which gives them a distinct evolutionary advantage. Flips over for coral veterinarians, they mount around, which give pleasurable first development. Yeah. Oh no, trust me, Penan, if you watch Zefrank's video on the duck, you think, oh, duck, and it shows off cute little fluffy ducklings, and he says, oh, and then he talks about mating, he's like, and the duck's penis is corkscrewed, and you're like, pardon? And then he shows a picture of one, and you're like, pardon? So yeah, ducks are weird. Just FYI. And I hope you're not eating. You know all that time you spent down at the duck pond? Yeah. Oops, sorry about that, kind of ruined that one for you. Haven't thought ducks is nice since hearing the Ballad of Sinister Ducks. Ooh, I've not heard of that. I'll have to check that out. Because I'm reminded of whenever I think about ducks. I did a course for when I was becoming a supervisor for Sainsbury's. And it was one of these, you know, like, team building courses and all sorts of stuff. And part of it, they had this, think of yourself as the swan. You know, graceful on top and kicking like mad underneath. And I went, can I be a duck? And the last doing the course was like, pardon? I was like, can I be a duck? I'm like, why do you want to be a duck? I said, well, ducks are funny. I said, seriously, I said, if you've ever seen a duck jump, which I have, and it's hilarious, I said, if you ever see a duck jump, I said, it's the funniest thing you'll ever see. But to me, ducks are funny. You know, they quack, they make stupid sounds, they look goofy. I said, swans are evil, they can break your arm. And then so the guy chips in with like, yeah, oh, swans are just vicious, and all this stuff. And someone else chipped in with how there were a pair of swans, and one of them got shot through the neck with a crossbow bolt and died, and they had to show the corpse to the other ones so it could move on. And this poor teacher in the class was just like, what has just happened? You know, just completely derailed the entire class. On the upside, at the end, when she was saying, you know, the reminders of the class, and she was like, remember, be like a swan, and then she looked at me and went, or a duck. Alright, yep, no worries, Caron. Enjoy the game. I shall catch up with you later. Penises are weird. Yes, I agree. I've got one. It's weird. Duck pond is sacred, cannot be ruined. I'll send you the Zefrank video. That might change your mind on that one. It's educational. It's in Discord for all that's it. Wonderful, thank you. I will have to have a gander at that. A gander, haha. No pun intended. Well, again, there's a geese, aren't there? Never mind. I don't know my aviation. Or birds. Everything's a pigeon or it's a duck. You know, there's very little in between for me. It just saves on trying to memorize it all. You're a pigeon or a duck or that bloody thing that just shat on me. Petition for Dave to play Untitled Goose Game on stream. That's just like that mischievous goose thing though, isn't it? You just terrorise a town as a goose. It is on Game Pass. Yeah, eventually I'll get myself sorted out with a fracking Game Pass, but that can wait till I'm back in work and feeling a bit better about general stuff. But then, no matter what, I'll be back in work and I'm like, yep, I have no time for anything. Alright, so let's try and get this. Not too much. Want to do that to that. I can give them a almost stereotypical male bit. Well, I don't know why I'm pointing. You can't see it on me. Maybe I should give him a goatee. Hide the chin. Would an orc have that? That's the question. Or rather, would a half orc have that? Oh, now his ear is there. Look. Hello, Seba. Welcome in on this stream. Just creating a D&D character. Well, I keep saying D&D, it's not, it's Pathfinder, but similar thing. It's me taking the role of some kind of mystical creature and going around trying not to squish everything inside, whilst attempting to squish the stuff that I'm supposed to squish. Which, if my attempts at the early... We did like a test session on Sunday just to make sure everything was working right on Fantasy Grounds, I think it is, if I remember rightly. And I was getting used to, you know, combat and things like that because I had no idea what I was doing. Still don't, so it's going to be an entertaining Sunday. But yeah, I think I hit it once, and I basically... The creature we were attacking, I managed to sort of like wing it a little bit, and that was it. And I was like, yay, your barbarian managed to hit it after about 6 attempts. The die were just not with me on that day. Which is about part of the course for me, you know, if it's online or not, I suck at die rolls. Same system Pathfinder was D&D 3.5. Alright, okay. I was see a similar thing. And it's the kind of thing that people who are well into their tabletop games and stuff like that would know the minute differences. I'm an absolute newbie when it comes to stuff like that. I said I've played a bit of D&D in like a tester session, where I'd taken Gurky for a spin. Actually, we did some small campaigns at the local library, and that's when I had Loyu got on her first D&D outings, if you will. That was kind of fun. But yeah, the first one where I chose a character that was more of one that I could play a role of, just because I hate the idea of trying to fake a female voice. I was a rogue of the name of Gurky, which, funnily enough, I've chosen the same name for this guy because at the time they're like, "What are you going to call you, Barbarian?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't think of that part. I haven't come up with a name, so it's Gurky." And due to the fact that he was raised by a necromancer who, okay, necromancers are generally looked down upon and all this jazz, but this was, an educated necromancer. He's going to have a slightly British accent because I don't want to do the typical barbarian, me barbarian, he's actually going to have like the semi-British accent to it, for giggles, because I can. So he shall be Gurky, and he shall be the one who shall go forth and smash things with his giant hammer. Yes. And occasionally sit down and have a cup of tea. Semi-cyberpunk spin-off. Oh, okay. I remember there was another one that we did, I think it was Numeria? Something like that. We did try that many, many moons ago. Just doing it over Skype, which shows how long ago it was, because I still use Skype. And I just kept derailing the plot. Snooty Barbarian, yes. I'm half a mind to let him have a monocle, because the necromancer would have had one, and just have him so that he sort of has a monocle dangling off his ear or something. He can't wear it properly or something daft like that. I'll replace the earring with a monocle. Ooh, that's an idea. You just have like the monocle chain wrapped around it and it's just got the monocle dangling off it. Yeah, because technically it's a hard fork, but yeah, that's the kind of orky one that I could have gone for, and I was like, nah, I want to do something different with this. Mostly because, if the people I'm playing with can put up with that kind of stuff, then, I'll be quids in. So it would need to have the strap coming through. Let's have it so that it comes up and goes around. Oh. Just the landlord's dog outside. Last foray into D&D was hilarious because my waifu on his character got a crit roll and killed a guy with a stack of papers. Hey, paper cuts are lethal, yo. It's either that or it's literally a wad of paper and you just go, which would hurt. I'm not gonna lie, getting hit with a stack of papers could hurt. I'm trying to break away from what I normally do, which is have a layer for each individual piece. Because normally when I'm doing something like this, I'd have the armour on one layer, and then I'd have a layer for the skin, and I'd have a layer for her, and I'd have a layer for and it could just get crazy. So I'm just trying to stick to line art, one layer. Colouring, that I'll probably split into different layers to make it easier to shade, but for the most part, it's, block, plain colours and just cell shading it. I don't want to get too drawing, because it's only in the end going to be used as a reference picture for people to know what the character looks like. It's not, drastic or needed to go upon display art or anything like that. Just put a pivot point there, and that can hang off that. Funnily enough, Garden Veteran Group's Half-Orc Barbarian is very 40k orc design. There's nothing wrong with having the 40k orcish design. At least you've got something to work off when it comes to the character in itself. But yeah, I just decided to be different with this and thought, no, we'll have a very British sounding orc. Mostly because the group as well we play with is all American, I believe. I think it's Carol and myself who are the Brits. There may be one other, I'm not sure. But the majority of them are Americans, so having a very British orc will just be, funnier. No, his arm's there, isn't it? Oh, fudge. So let's try and bend that in a bit more. That can go out, that's not a problem. Oops. I'll take that. There is an art category on Twitch. I looked for an art category, I couldn't find it for love nor money. I was like hunting through. The main reason why I've stuck it all in MISC when I've been doing it is just like I looked for an art category, didn't see one, so I'm like, oh, okay, then I'll put it in MISC. Because I don't want to put it in making and crafting, because I'm not making art crafting. And I'm just like, I know that's an option, but it's not what I've got. Fudgy cakes. Oh, that's my Mentos. Let me try and organise that then. I don't know if I can update mid-stream, but I shall give it a whirl. Making art, yeah, but to me making is more like, getting physical stuff and building something with it. Yeah, I should be able to, it's just, I generally don't touch the actual website side of things, it's just usually all done through OBS. But yeah, I did tell it to update tags anyway, so I thought it would have done that, but I'm guessing not. Yeah! Woo! Where does it come up with end tags from? Click that button. Yeah, why can't I delete these tags? I'm blocking it. Oh, it's... How did I not see that last time I tried that bin? Okay. There we go, changed. Thank you. Tends to keep tags from previous streams, sometimes OBS is a button. Okay. I'll have to try and remember to look, because I generally close Firefox down when I'm gaming, because it's a memory hog and clogs everything up, and I use my phone for it, but I don't get that great Wi-Fi signal in this room, so I sort of start off with the phone, and it will just lose a signal about halfway through every time I'm lucky. And I'm just like, oh, I can't tell what's happening. Right, let's close that back doing again, so I don't leave it up. Go back to there. I can use the PS4 default myself. There's PS4. Yeah. It's kind of handy that you've got like the camera on the PS4 and stuff like that. I'm just glad I got this webcam. I was kind of shocked when they sent it, man. Not sure, because I was only supposed to be getting a set of pens off them. They said, oh, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, oh, I don't need anything for Christmas. I don't really celebrate it. And like, no, we're going to get you something. And they wanted to get something for me art, so I said, well, if you can get us some white marker pens, I said, because the amount of times that I'll do an image and forget to leave the highlighting, especially on eyes, and I'm like, I could do with a pen to colour the highlighting. So I found some pens on Amazon and said, just grab them, and they kept saying they had difficulty getting them in. And then they're like, oh, we've got the delivery, it's gone to your Amazon box. So, trundled into the box, picked up the package, didn't think much of it because, I thought it'd be the same kind of size package for what it was. Got back into the bloody webcam inside, I was like, what the hell? And they're like, well, we couldn't get you the pens, so we got you that instead. So, okay, thanks. And I said, on the plus side, it's handy, it's got a microphone, so for things like this, I don't need to have a headset on. Hopefully I assume it's loud enough. I've chopped up the volume as much as I can on it. But also it means that I'm not having to worry about, halfway through the stream, it just turning itself off because it's chewed through the battery. Although I'll still have OBS set for the digital camera, because when I do my traditional art stuff, it will assist in that, because I can just point that camera easier at the desk, or have one on the desk, one on me, and me sketching away, although I need to sort out a better desk setup, because the other evening I was colouring an image in, and I was watching a few streams at the time. I had them all at the background, and I had the light desk out, and I set up a strip light to look down at it, and crouched over, colouring in and everything was fine, so I got to get up at the end, and I was just like, my back! I'm an old man! Yeah, that hurt. Note to self, don't spend like 4 hours bent over a bloody light box. The picture came out alright, but it was a bit sore on the old back. As much as I hate the idea of calling it the old back, I have to remind myself that, yeah, technically it is. Need a posture check alarm. Yes. I think what I need to do is not make myself a cup of tea first. Because I think that's half the problem, is that I sat down with a cup of tea and I was like, right, I'll do this. And I then didn't need to get up for anything. So I think that may have been downfall-esque, if you will. Back pain is always nasty, yes. What makes it worse is when you think, oh, I'm going to lie down and it'll be okay, and you lie down and the back pain doesn't go away, and you're like, no, it's not okay, back pain is still there, why are you still there, go away, back pain. But still, ibuprofen sorted it out for the next day, so... And then, did I put 3? I had 3 up to the midpoint, so... midpoint is back there, so... There's supposed to be like little rivet things holding, if you will, straps underneath to hold it all together. Just a quick check onto the layers, and I'm like, yes, I am colouring on the right layer, that's good. I did that earlier on. I was working on another piece, and I did a bucket load of colouring. Zoomed in, cleared everything up, zoomed out, and went, I've just done it on the wrong fucking layer. And it was one of those where, because of how I'd done it, I couldn't just cut it out and move it up to the right layer. I had to do it again, and I was just like... And it literally was just close the picture down, load it back up, start from the previous save. I was just like, fudge. Yeah, so let's all get our old man stick out. Our old lady stick out. Old person stick. We suddenly went, yeah, I remember back when I was young, when Pluto was still a planet. Sitting down with a cup of things. As soon as I sit down with a coffee and snacks, I'm not moving yet. I love the fact I'm like, maybe I shouldn't make myself cups of tea first, and I'm sat here with a, full mug. Because it's the thing I've noticed while streaming, is I don't drink the tea as much. Sounds kind of daft, but this cup would be empty by now. Because I'm more focused on what I'm doing as well as trying to talk about things. The tea is sort of there as something to wet my throat. Ooh, I just pressed the wrong button there. So let's just do that. Oh, Dave stick, yes. We're taking that to the next convention. Turn it with a walking stick, stop prodding people. Hey, social distancing, back away, young man. I said hello to people. What? Let's see. It'd be nice to get back to a convention at some point soon. Just, see people. Just as it stands at the minute, I'm just like, I don't know what's happening with my life. No idea what's happening with my work. I need to drop them into the mail and be like, so, have we come to any kind of agreements as what's happening? Anything we can do? Because at the moment I'm at the stage where my doctor's like, well, we'd like you to return to work, but you need to be, guaranteed to be in XYZ role. And I'm like, I can't guarantee that at the minute, and work can't guarantee that. Just because they don't have that kind of role available. And I need to get back to work just to get back to doing things. I'm losing my nuts at home. I mean, technically, yes, I could stream more, but then I'd be sort of biting off more than I could chew for when I actually go back to work, and I'd be like, I'm unable to stream. So we shall see what happens with that one, eventually. So the only reason I set the time for my weekday streams to be like 6 and stuff, just so that when I'm back in work, I can still stream. And I don't have to worry, because I know I'll be back by that time. Oh, the day's been moving mass and there wasn't right at front yet. Yeah, I mean, I use my schedule as a guide and stuff. I mean, at the minute my streaming schedule is useful for me because it reminds me what day I'm on. As bad as that sounds, there have been some days I've woken up and I'm like, where am I, when am I, what am I doing, what day is it? And having the streams gives me something to say, right, today I need to do this, this and this. It's like, for instance, today I did the prep work for this, just getting the basics drawn out. Because I was like, I need to have that done for the stream. So it gave me a purpose in the morning that wasn't just, sketch or doodle. I like to keep my traditional art colouring for when other people are streaming, because then I can have them streaming away and whatnot in the background whilst I'm doing it. I'm not then having to worry about having to be too active with them. So if it's like a game or anything like that, I'm not having to worry about that. I'm just sketching in the background. I have got my next picture ready, which I shall be in to do over the next few days, which I'll actually get the original version because you'll be able to see it. Photo stuff I need to do. So if you haven't seen it, that was what I did. That's when I did my backing, was doing that one, which is the OC of Saber, who's in chat, and I originally did that, which was just pencil shaded. So it was a case of, I've been going through a lot of my old work to try and get that done, and the next one I'm doing, he says, and then realises he hasn't actually got it in here. How strange. I must have put it somewhere. Oh dear. Where did I put it? I appear to have misplaced the original. That's a bit of a whoopsie. Okay. I don't know where the original isn't. So yeah, what I'm doing is, and hopefully this camera will pick this up. Wait, hang on, move that way. I had a sleepy cat girl to do. So that's all done on the paper, the bleed-proof marker paper. And then what I'll do is I'll colour that in, and then go around the line art again just to make it pop. But that'll be the next task for whenever someone's streaming. I'll just sit down and do that. And that picture, the original one, is a few years old as well. But yeah, it's just nice to be able to go through some of the old images and colour them rather than just pencil shade. Yep, Starlight Road. Oh, fudge. No, I don't want to follow the muscles. I love the fact that I did this character with abs and everything, and I'm just going to cover them up with armour. Well, we all know what's under there. You saw it. Oops. So that I can't draw across the same line twice. Oh, I think it's because I set my line to be really, really stupidly thin for drawing something else, and then I forgot to set the thickness back. Whoopsie! That's why it's been coming through really, really thin recently, and I just haven't cottoned onto it. Oh joy. Oh well, I'll be redoing some of the line art on this. But yeah, I had one of my friends, they know someone who does appraisals, I guess is the best way of putting it. And why did my pen just reset to 2 again? But yeah, they looked through some of my work and they're like, we can see some stuff that you could look to sell and you could look to get work done, but you have to show that you can do more than cat girls with guns. I'm like, oh, yeah, I kind of figured that much because, you know, not everyone wants cat girls with guns, it's just, that's kind of what I draw. Not because of any deep reason, it's just, she's a character I've had in my head for like 20 years. I know, you know, if I get bored, I just draw Lou, because it's easy. I am debating if I want to change her hairstyle up a bit, though. So, you know, I could always run this by you guys as well, see what you think. But as it currently stands, she has hair that sort of pops off and it sort of hangs forward. The bangs are sort of out, if you will, like this. And I'm wondering whether I'd want to try and have it so that it's more of a fringe over the front, but then the larger pieces come down the side and sort of curl around the cheeks. I'll probably do a few rough sketches and throw that up on like Facebook or Instagram or something like that and just sort of say, you know, what do you think, kind of thing. I want to deliberately change that a bit so that his hand is going over, because otherwise it looks really weird. But yeah, that's about the only change that I can think of doing for her that, you know, will really drastically change her look from the past. I think it's about 15 years she's had the current look, because originally she was a lot furrier, because when I started doing it, her role model, if you will, was from EverQuest 2, because that's where essentially she was created. Her name and everything like that. I had an idea of what she was going to be like, and EverQuest 2 had a cat girl race, and I was like, brilliant, I'll use that as a base and then I'll build up a story from there. And at the time, all I knew her as was Kitty, because it was the call sign that she had, because being a cat, she got given this call sign. And it was like, what name can I give her? And then I got, Karen was like, well, type Kitty, but move your fingers one over, and see what you get, and K-I-T-T-Y, move your fingers over, you get L-O-Y-Y-U, Loyu, and I was like, that's a cool enough name. So there was the start of Loyu. You know, from EverQuest, and yes, her original design was furry. I then found out through the wonders of the internet the more traditional Japanese take on cat girls, and I was like, oh, I like that design more. So that was the biggest change I did, was she stopped looking as furry and she started being more cat girl-esque. So I haven't really changed her design much since then. I've done a couple where she's had her hair down, but you know that's just because she normally has it in a ponytail. Just giving crappy nails. I thought you were about to say I discovered the furry community. No. I mean, I've discovered it since, but... And, you know, I will admit I was tempted to get in touch with one of them to see about getting a fursuit, and you might be like, oh my god, he's going down that route. I wanted to do Sam from Sam and Max, and I thought it'd be kind of hilarious just to turn up to a convention as Sam with a little plushie Max. And I could throw the plushie people going, second little buddy. I just thought that would be kind of hilarious to turn up to a convention for. And that was when they started releasing the Telltale games, and you had the... In the game, whenever you went up to the shopkeeper, you had the, do you have any... And I was just going to walk around the dealer's room like, do you have any... And then just ask for random stuff that wasn't on that dealer's table, just as part of the character. But yeah, I never did that, mostly because I knew I'd melt in it. I mean, I cook in a wig, let alone a full-blown fursuit, so... I'll stick to, you know, just melting away in skimpy dresses. I'm better at that. That's you to a T. What, the skimpy dresses? Or the desire to do Sam? Something you have to remember with Twitch is the delay. Let's see. Skull? Yeah, let's give him a skull. Let's have a look at some skull designs. I don't want to just give him a generic looking skull. Ooh, a ram skull could be good. Just in like the tiniest little image of a ram skull, I'm like, ooh, that could be awesome. And kind of appropriate for a groin region, you know. So that you go for the whole Red Dwarf thing with the sticker Black and Decker on it. It looks like you're using AdBlock. Yes. Yes, I am, because the amount of times that these websites have awful ads. It's like nothing's worse than going on YouTube. You get all sorts of ads, and you're just like, why are you showing me this? Why is this even being advertised? It's just, honestly. Oh, throw Max at people, yes, yes. Try to avoid the firm UK one for all reasons. Yeah, I said I haven't sort of been in touch with anyone from it for years. As I said, this going back to when Telltale originally released Sam and Max. So it's going back quite a few years. But yeah, I kind of knew what the community was like, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really want part of that. I'd rather just have the idea in my head and giggle at the idea than try and go ahead with it and be assumed to be part of that community. Which is a shame, because, you know, there are people out there that are probably okay, but then I know of some. I've kind of since distanced myself away from them as much as I could, but yeah, they went one step beyond. Especially when they decided that they were going to go into the pony fandom as well. And, you know, I'll admit, I enjoyed My Little Pony when it came out. It was a fun show with, you know, interesting bits for adults as well as kids. The writing I thought was rather good. Yeah, I could watch it, and I was happy enough to say that. And then it started getting all sorts of stuff from people, and it was like, I don't want to be associated with that. You know, especially when there was a guy that used to be on Facebook, because I thought he was sort of alright until he started making plushies. And that wouldn't have been too bad, but he was making plushies that were correct, and it's like, no. No, 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 no. Don't want that anymore. Goodbye. So yes, I shortly after that decided I don't want to be part of that. Still haven't changed my plan to do a miniature railway layout involving it, the pony stuff. But what I aim to do with it is to build a exhibition layout with more kids themes. Because what I'd like to do is be able to go to model railway exhibitions and have something there for kids. Something that kids can look at and go, oh, I know that character, it's from XYZ show. And then they feel that they can get involved because, don't get me wrong, I love looking at some of the highly detailed, correct versions of, say, like, the Somerset and Devon railways and stuff like that, and they come out with all these wonderful, intricate, finely detailed things, but kids look at them and they're like, yeah, but where's the trains? Why aren't they running? Oh, it's timetable, do not have a train running at the moment. And you're like, yeah, but people want to see stuff move, especially kids, they get bored. I mean, sure, it's great for adults to have these fantastically detailed things, but it's not going to get the kids interested. And I want to do something that kids can go, yeah, I can see this as something I can do, and it'll give them the initial delve into the hobby, and then they can go from there and create their own. So I've still got an idea to do something like that, just to try and get kids in on it. Obviously, with everything that's been going on with human malware, I don't need to worry about any exhibitions for a while, which means I've got time to finish building it all up. Okay, start. People in the villages who ruin stuff is awful. Yeah, and yes, very correct. Very anatomically correct. Yes, it was. Yeah, when that started, I was just like, nope, that's it. I don't want to be associated with you anymore. I'll get good money for it. I'm like, don't give a shit. And yes, human malware. Good way of phrasing things for the current issue. I can't remember who taught it. I know Time mentioned it to me, but it was like we picked it up from somewhere, and human malware was used to avoid like YouTube picking up and deleting the video because it mentioned the word that must not be said. Like what, Voldemort? Oh, that eye is too close. Let's try. So the bomb would come down there, and you'd have. Where I find out that this guy's just done a fantasy rendering of a head, and I've gone, oh, it looks like a goat head. I'm going to do that. Clear up some of these lines, make it a bit easier for everyone to see. I have to try and remember that. It's like, whilst I can see what I'm doing, and remember that you guys don't share the same wacky vision that I've got. And all these lines might get a tad confusing. So let's just hide that a second. So that's probably more up there and that way. That line needs to go. Not happy with that, it looks too goofy. Or I found that it's actually technically correct or something and I've just, so goofy. I find it weird that you look at most skulls and the eyes don't actually have a hole in the back. I'm like, well, how does the retina stuff get through? Like the optics and whatnot. It's then I realised I probably shouldn't study skulls that much. Or I should study them more. One or two. I suppose as long as they're not mine, there's no issue. Guess what I'm about to eat or organise? Auntie. So that there and that there. Oh. Have you done W yet? In case anyone's wondering what Nights is, a mobile game that we both play. And E2ing is getting a character up to the second level of promotion. And as typical in most mobile games, it costs a lot of points and experience, and well, not experience, but there's cost associated with it in terms of materials and whatnot required. Oh wait, no, I want to do that. Yep. Last week, within like 5 days. What was that for a W? I'm trying to remember who it is that you've got like the levelling up. He's going to need a bit more work. Let's zoom in a second. Getting a bit pinned. Would that one have? Yeah, I'd have more flex in that one. Oh, like Weedle? Weedy? Weedy? Oh, sure, one of the two. They're both yeet cannons. Which just reminds me, I really want that as an airsoft pistol. Just be able to turn it to the side, like, oh, what are you packing? The yeet cannon. Need to beat Shaw and push power. Need to beat her by 4. Yeah, it's only because Shaw puts all her power into being a rat god, so, you know. She can't help it, she's got the rat moves. Actually, it'd be kind of hilarious to see Shaw versus Callie. Well, that wouldn't ever happen currently due to the whole West Highline incident, so... Oh, that way. Is Eminem still even a thing? I remember him being a thing when I was young. I mean, I'm assuming so. I haven't heard of him kicking the bucket, but I say it's just one of those things to say, going back in mind, hey, I used to listen to that. I don't know why. I think it's because it's all that was ever played on the bloody radio. And all the cool kids apparently listened to it, and I was stupid, and I was like, I want to be like the cool kids. Before I realised that you can actually have your own life and your own choice in music. And I was like, I don't want to be like the cool kids. Well, just, you know, does he still go in general? You know, I'm assuming so, because people talk about him, so... It's just, yeah, I don't pay attention to most modern music nowadays. I tend to find it all very... Yeah, Marshall Mathers, Eminem, whatever the snake he called himself. Oh, wait. So here, I'd have the knee coming down. I then got to have... leather armor. Which would need a corner there. I'm going to keep retiring them. Alright, okay. So he's Michael Jordan then. Hasn't quite decided if he wants to call it quits or not, so he'll just stay in there until the money gets a bit low. Other way around, he'll quit and then come back when the money gets low. Oh, fudge cakes can't go a straight line. I'm trying to think, what was the last thing that I actually listened to that was modern? Or, sorry, correct myself, mainstream modern. Because the last modern thing I listened to was Callie's Song, which is technically modern, but it's probably not something you'd ever hear played on the radio. So yeah, getting on a bit in years then. Just makes me wonder if his raps are like, back in my day when I was young, I used to walk down the street and go, yo! Or whatever it is they do. As you can tell, I don't do rap. I don't even mock it that well. I'm just like, I just remember having a friend who used to really like the rap scene, so I tried to listen to it to understand it more. And the only rap that I actually enjoyed was Will Smith. And some people are like, oh, it's not rap. And I'm like, it technically is. But that was what I enjoyed listening to, because it wasn't cursing every other word kind of thing. It was more of a mellow. Trying to put a pair of albums back in 2019. I must have been getting short on the old cash then. Right, call it there, and then another one there, and then just put 2 pins. Yep, that's pretty much what it's like growing up. All you'd ever hear is it just being played, and you're just like, really? The only person who didn't used to do it used to play a lot of Rammstein. Well, something I could listen to and not give two hoots about. Can't understand any of it, but it was at least more listenable to than rap. Oops. Need to make that one longer, I think. Usual sibling troubles then, yeah. That's not looking too bad. Oops, wrong button. I think it's true for most siblings. You generally don't get a good relationship with them. cramped me up as a kid. And yeah, now it's just like, it doesn't bother me, but back then it was such a thing that I used to sort of get away with it all, and I couldn't. And yeah, there's probably people who had it far worse, I'll admit. But yeah, I think it is hard. You'd be hard pushed to find people who have the great relationship with their siblings. Oops, fudge, that one went completely wrong. Oh, fudge, I keep hitting the wrong bloody button. Nope, wait. It's got to come around the back, curve down. God, I hate trying to think in 3D. Oh, fudge. Delete. Oh shit, my brother is tricky. Okay, most of the time originally. Yeah. So it's pretty much the sum for most siblings. I sort of felt the same about my brother. And God knows what he thinks of me, to be honest. I kind of stopped worrying. Why do I get the feeling that this foot is a little smaller? I'm really going to regret doing this harder. You will come down a bit more, and then you've got that. And flatmate's gone out for a sig break. Tell by the heavy footsteps on the top of my ceiling. Oh, no, that's not right, is it? Let's get rid of them. Thank you. Oh, fudge, that's not a good nail. Try that one again. Yep. What's the saying? You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. I still remember one of the oldest questions I ever got asked. It's going to get a bit kind of morbid here. Was when I went back up north after my dad died. I had someone say, "So what was it like as a dad?" I was like, "Well, Here's my dad. Yeah, but, you know, how good a dad was he? I'm like, well, I don't know, I've only ever had the one. How am I supposed to answer that question? Did he treat you fair? Well, I guess so. You know, but compared to what, essentially? It's just such a bizarre thing to get asked. It's like, with family, you can't really answer that kind of stuff. You know, it's not like you get a choice of it. My family doesn't mean I like them. I like that one, I'll have to remember that. Oh, you've chosen me for your interweb family. That's a mistake. You know what I'm like. You've seen the pictures. Oops. Oh, I'm missing that part of his head. That'd be something to fix. He was taught to keep an open mind. He took it quite literally. Oh. I'm trying to think about wrinkles, how they appear on heads. Because I noticed one of the fun things about having no hair is notice there's a certain part when you bring your eyebrows up, a certain mass of your head moves up, but the rest is stuck there, and he's trying to figure out. It's about there. If I put my fingers here, I can feel the skin moving. If I do it there, it's not. So I'm trying to find where that muscle attachment point is and how it goes on the head. I also get to sit here and wiggle my eyebrows at the camera. Dave is an interweb family member, never run out of tea. I don't know, I'd probably drink it all, that's the downside. Never run out of coffee. We'd never have any to start with, but, you know. So I had a friend come over and they were like, oh, can I get a cup of tea? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I made him a cup of tea and like, you got sugar? I'm like, I don't use sugar? In anything? I had to run over and get some sugar from the bloody One Stop across the way. I then give him the packet afterwards and I'm like, I have no need for sugar. If you use it, take it home with you and use it there. Let's make that the belt. A bit more of a substantial belt than the tiny little one I just gave him. Oops, what did I press? That one. Yeah, it matches up the other side better now. Right, and then, so that would come down there, and we'd also have it coming up. That's how it coming up off there, because I can then. There we go. Just adds a bit there. Neaten that up there. Let's get rid of that line. Yeah, watching some of the other live streams, I figure I need to see about getting like music for the background, just like a simple BGM to play whilst I do this. Because there's one of them that I follow, Ina. She does art streams. She'll have a little background tune playing. I'm like, I should get something like that. Okay, before I get too crazy, let's save. I know what's likely to happen if I forget to save. Forgot your backpack again, haven't I? I'll have to put that on. Twitch is a library of free music. Ooh, I should look into that then. Let's just get this backpack done on a different layer so I can quickly put it in. But yes, I shall have to check out this Twitch music stuff. Don't ask me too fancy, just a little something to plink away in the background. And let's just get rid of all that because it looks awful. Let's just whoop and whoop. Nope, that's wrong. Whoop. Sound effects are very important when doing art. You need to make sure you get the right sound effects, otherwise your art is going to fail. Take it to someone who knows this from first-hand experience. See, I didn't do a sound effect and I drew it wrong, so it's going to go whoop. Yes, yeah, I found it out on the last stream. I was like, poop. And I thought I was playing something that was safe. Oh well. It was at that point that I found out it wasn't safe. See that there, but I want it nonetheless. And after I got around the corner, tuck that in. Muted over an ambulance siren. Yep, doesn't surprise me. Welcome to the world where everything is copyright. I mean, Christ, we're talking about a world where an American guy has copyrighted a World War II Russian song. And it's like, really? You own the copyright to a Russian World War II marching song? Can you tell me how that one works? And I got to remind myself, lol, America. That's the reason why they had to put Tetris in. Yeah, I've done it the wrong fucking layer. There's lots of things that are banned in Germany due to, obviously, the connotations and stuff like that it had. But at the same time, part of me is like, well, how are people supposed to know about it if you get rid of it? And what's to stop people making the same mistakes? And doing stupid stuff. But then I remind myself I don't really worry about political crap anymore because it's just fucked up. Yep, that's as soon as I heard what they did, I didn't buy it. I was going to, and then I heard what they did, and I was like, nope, not getting any money from me. I'd much rather buy the Japanese release and have no clue what they're actually saying than I would to actually go out and buy one that's been done, which is a real shame, but hey, their choice. They decided that's what they wanted to do. I'm just voting with my wallet and saying I don't agree with it. And for some reason it's set my brush size to 2.5 again. Why do you do that? At which point do I say set the brush size, you bastards? There's obviously a hidden command that I've not known about and I keep resetting brush size. I didn't think it was present on the DVD release at all. They literally couldn't get the license to use any of it. So let's have a look at that and see. Yeah, so I just need to get weapon in. Oh, I've just seen a little bit I've missed. Oops. Zoom. Actually, I want to give footwear some chance of actually doing its job, so let's make sure that it can stick out a bit and then do that. There we go. I'll have to look into it because the main reason I didn't buy any of it was because they got rid of it all, which they'd done because they couldn't. Oh shit! Cancel. Wrong button. As I said, the whole copyright issue with a Russian song for an American guy claiming rights to it. So they had to replace it all, and it wouldn't make sense to have one version of it for Europe because of cost, and then another for America or anything like that. You know, because they literally froze the frames of them singing, so they're going whilst Tetris is playing, and you're like, nice. Alright, so let's bring up a new layer for the axe because this one could be a bit of a sod to do. Hmm. I say because I thought it was they changed Katyusha as the German marching songs because you cannot have German marching songs in a kids show because their brains might become infatuated with German marching songs and they will then do things and you're like, really? It's something I'll look at afterwards. Whoops, no, wait, that's what we're doing. So that one has, from there it comes out, we're going to have the top, let's get rid of the bit there. Oh, this bit. Might be food time soon. Oh, yes. God, is that time already? That would be a good thing for me to do, is actually get some food. And not do what I did the other day, which will probably make you giggle. So, I was like, I could do with something to eat. But I don't really feel like cooking anything. I know, I've got super noodles. I'll make some super noodles. So, normally you boil water in a pan and then you put super noodles in. I'm like, I can't be bothered boiling the water in a pan. I'll boil it in a kettle first, pour it into the pan and skip out on that stage because it's faster in a kettle. So, put water in the kettle, flip the kettle on, sit down, wait for the kettle to boil. Kettle boils, come down, sit down, make myself a cup of tea, and I'm sat here and it's like 10 minutes later, I'm like, wasn't I going to eat something at some point? And I'm sat there with a cup of tea in hand, I'm like, yeah, that's what happened to that boiling water. Force a habit, kettle went off and I went, tea time. It has almost got this to a point where I can call it somewhat finished. It'll just be a case of getting the colouring done. I can get that done before Sunday. Oops, that wasn't joined up there. Let's join it up. Oops. Let's do that. Yep. Right. Well, I need to work on that accent, it looks awful. Barked. Still, I shall call that there. It's been 2 hours, give or take. So I'll get that finished up in time for Sunday. But yes, that will be my character for my quest. Gerki, the slightly British barbarian. So yes, thank you very much for joining me today. Hope it's been somewhat entertaining, at least. And I shall be back regular on Friday. That will be my Nier Automata gameplay. We'll then be back on Saturday. We'll be doing Deep Rock Galactic again. It'll be me and Caron, and we've got somebody else who's joining us for that. We have played a few games in the meantime to get ourselves up to speed, so we know a bit more about it. But yes, it'll be Deep Rock Galactic again on Saturday. And then I'm also toying with the idea of adding an extra stream perhaps on a Monday. And I was trying to think of another game I could do. So it'd be again a long-standing game on a Monday. Either that or just carry on with Nier on a Monday and a Friday. But some of the ideas I had for it were I've got the Witcher series to do. There's Kerbal Space Program, so I could throw frogs at the moon and see how badly I do. Because oddly enough, I haven't played that recently. The last time I did Kerbal, I got a frog to the moon, or a Kerbal to the moon, I should say. We're going to be getting him back. So that could be something I could do, is just load up the sandbox mod in that and just try and do stuff, because I'm not good enough to do the standard career mode stuff, but again, it's something I could have a go at. Yeah, so I'll be back again, hopefully doing more next Wednesday, or if anything goes to pot, I'll just boot up a game instead. But thank you all for joining, and have a good evening or morning, depending on where and when you're watching this, and I shall catch up with you later on then. Doodles!